that's kind of the only point I've got.
Well, you may be right that it's not universally applicable, but it may be. So until you pick a language and study it, and then go pick another one, study that one, then go pick another one, study that one, then get back to me. But until then, I don't deserve any criticism for studying Latin, all the European languages, and English, because I connect all of them to my study, all of the Latin and Roman languages.
It's not the languages on its own. It's talking into interpretations.
Interestingly,
He wasn't assaulting my interpretations. He was saying it wouldn't make sense.
Can I talk?
In other languages.
Can I talk?
No.
Or are you wanting to fill in my talk?
You got off to a bad start.
Do you want to stop my interpretation? Or
you asked me a question, so I answered it. So don't interrupt me.
No, I didn't ask you a question. I asked.
You certainly did. You asked me like 3 in a row. So I thought it was.
No, you interpreted as being asked.
Look,
you're
not my dad, okay? So don't treat me like
a question. I didn't ask you.
I'll shut up now, and you go ahead and talk as long as you goddamn please.
So if I hear something and I interpret it in some way, what am I doing? Am I creating comfort for myself, or am I challenging myself? If I'm challenging myself, I can learn. If I'm comforting myself, I keep myself in my place.
Yeah.
That's the construct of the ego. That's the walls around your ego, your ego.
Yeah, but the whole point of language is to encrypt knowledge. If you can speak the language, you can decrypt the knowledge.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's a construct of the man age. The man age is where the sun gets disconnected with guidance. It's the sun, per sun, each on its own. It's sand. Grains of sand that act as a whole, but are not really connected to each other. But soil is different. Soil connects with the oil. The oil is the feminine. It sees at all time what is going on in the now. But the male wants to look into the past, what we have done, we have learned from it, and we do it again, and we repeat our failures. It's thought that it's thought that creates the heart as a lapdog, instead of the heart being inspiration for thought. It's a conditional heart. If you don't belong to my tribe, I don't love you. It's throwing out people that are all children of God. Every one of us is a child of God.
That's right. So even if they're out of the tribe, we still love them. We love them so much that they come back to the tribe.
No.
Amen.
They come back to community. we gotta form communities. These communities connect with each other and expand.
Yeah.
Tribes are like bloodlines, ancestral energy. Ancestral energy contains wisdom, but also revenge and resentment.
But maybe
You
resentment and revenge is good.
Yeah, you didn't do it my way. My way is the best way ever.
Yeah, the right way,
I'm
right? The right way.
at the moment even in ego.
Yeah. There is only one way to do, I guess, something, right? Like it's either the right way or it's the hard way.
Yeah. It's the way of pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either my way or the highway. And the highway is the way of God, the higher path.
The high. Oh, yeah.
So you're either acting my way with the ego or the highway with the path of truth, the path of God, the path of gnosis.
Yeah. The way of self. The self truly remembering who he is. He is both finite and he's both infinite. He's both metaphysical and he's physical.
But you do believe in the Tao, right, Lightwater? You believe Tao and four?
What? Excuse me, I can't follow you at the moment. Please repeat, brother. Thank you.
Do you believe like in the Tao?
What's the
Like,
down?
no, DAO, I think. It's like, the underlying force of reality, kind of.
To do?
Yeah, I could split up if I could. Can you remind us, maybe for those who are like ignorant like me, if you don't mind? I can look it up.
Isn't that basically Neoplatonism?
Tao means the natural order of parity that the universe displays at all times to us, where everything is always restoring to perfection because of the force intelligent power of nature or the creator behind it.
Yeah, that's the logos in Christianity. Tao is just an Eastern philosophical understanding of it.
Now, Tao is an observation, so Christianity is a doctrine. So Tao is an observation of natural order, Christianity is a doctrine.
No, you can't get an ought from an is. So the ought is logos, the actrophy against the entropy. So the thing that is holding things together. That is Jesus Christ, logos.
Well, no way a man is logos. So usually Jesus Christ is attached to a man that walked on earth, so that's false.
No, he is divine. He is the Son of God.
No.
He
Created
said,
with
he
the
said every
beginning.
human born is divine and the Son of God.
It's not false.
Yeah, that's
Jesus
anti-Christian. That's
Yeah,
antichrist.
Jesus is inside you.
No, the Christ
What's
essence,
inside you
spark
walks
of God.
the earth.
Christ means the
What is
spark of God.
inside you walks the earth.
Now,
The
Christ
earth,
is a
the
man.
earth is not only what
Christ
is
is the spark
outside
of
you,
God.
it's also
Christ is the
inside you.
spark. Christ is the spark of God, the force, power, intelligence of nature that lives as an access point inside every human being. They talked about Christ as a term for 100 years before the mystic named Yeshua was even born. Christ is a term, not a name, not a title. It's a term. It means the spark of God inside every human being. It's related to Christos in Greek, which means anointed by creation. That means it's a genius inside you or a piece of God that's inside every human being. The Christ. The Christ is inside every single human.
Absolutely.
Well, to anoint.
But Worship
That's the
has,
point, right?
worship has its place.
Well,
But
to anoint someone.
worship also places God above you.
Oh,
Not in your heart. When you take God into your heart, you still can worship it, but also take it inside of you. That's where it belongs. Inside.
But you have to measure towards a straight line in order to understand your curvedness towards the straight line. You have to have the ultimate outside of you point of view in order for you to understand like where you're doing wrong. Right?
Amen.
Did you ever hear of Jacob's ladder?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, I
sir.
heard of it.
It is a tool to show you that you got to step up the ladder. What's the step on a ladder?
Sure. The ladder is a
It's a
symbol for
rung.
the spine.
It's a rung. It can feel wrong. It can feel wrong, but it's right.
No, Jacob's ladder is a symbol for the spine, and Christo, or to anoint someone
Also.
means to cover them in oil, and Christos is the sacred oil within all human beings.
Yeah. And sacred
One-
oil is the feminine. Salt
No,
is
it's a physical oil. It's like a physical oil that's made in the pituitary and the pineal gland.
absolutely.
It goes down the spine and then it goes back up.
Within these oils in the pineal gland, there are microsalts.
It's mosquito tries to jump in your mouth or something.
There are microsalts that are piezo. So it's both male and feminine. Working together, communicating, exchanging energy, exchanging information.
Well, the minimal triune understanding is that you need somebody to exercise virtue towards, and then you need somebody to witness it.
Yeah.
That's the minimal triune principle.
Yeah.
So the witness is always outside of you. It can be within you, but that would be autonomy. LightWater, let me finish, brother. Like, the witness can't be you. It needs to be outside of you.
No, absolutely wrong. The weakness is also inside of you. When you look,
it's also inside of you. The witness, the thing that you have to appeal to is outside of you. It can't be you. That's the essence of autonomy. Like, the autonomous intellect is the anti-Christian intellect.
When you look,
do realize that.
When you look at a crab or a lobster or a turtle,
I don't need to do that. I don't get my morality from nature.
I'm asking you to look at it and consider it, okay?
Okay.
So when you look at a lobster, a crab, and a turtle, it's weak on the inside, but it has a shield on the outside.
Oh wow!
Do you have a shell on the outside and the softness on the inside?
Yeah.
In the same aspect as the lobster?
Yeah.
Are you speaking metaphysically or physically right now? Do you actually have a lobster shell?
Metaphysically.
Metaphysically, okay. So why are you appealing to the physical existence of a lobster and then applying it to your metaphysical understanding of reality?
Because in the reset, both the metaphysical and the physical will merge. Believe it.
What do you mean?
You can believe it or not, but the metaphysical and the physical will merge.
What do you mean?
Everything has a meaning.
That's what I'm asking you. What do you mean? So you can't just appeal to everything has a meaning. What do you mean right now?
I will tell you what I mean. When I look at the essence of the universe,
Are you looking at the essence of the universe right now?
yeah. In the essence of the universe, I see that the feminine is electromagnetics, creating space where the electric, the male, acts.
So the feminine is the magnetic and the electro is masculine.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So what are you? What's
So
the ought that you're bringing out of that understanding? Like what ought we do based on that understanding?
So both need each other to create the total.
Duality. Are you like speaking as a Neoplatonist right now?
No. I am talking about not about duality, but I'm talking about polarity.
Which is another way of saying duality.
No. If you accept polarity as a given, it's one.
Like I'm proposing triality.
Let me say this one thing. If you think that you can come to one conclusion, you are accepting that you are a robot.
I don't accept that statement at all.
No, I know, because I hear you.
Yeah, you are appealing. You're saying you're gaslighting me into being a robot if I don't accept one conclusion. Like what are you saying right now?
We live in gaslight.
Okay, it's obviously that you're a Gnostic, some kind of an understanding of Maya or whatever bullshit understanding you have about reality, and then you're projecting it onto me, and I reject that. I reject
my bullshit is fertility for your garden.
Oh, wow.
Your bullshit is fertility for my garden, or whatever bullshit understanding you have about reality, and then you're projecting it onto me, and I reject that. I reject
my bullshit is fertility for your garden.
Oh, wow.
Your bullshit is fertility for my garden.
Yes.
Okay.
If you can't see order in the chaos, you're missing the point. What's given to us, what's guided to us.
From whom?
From the source.
God.
We were living in the man age, which is the mercy machine, which is depicted as the Mercedes-Benz sign, the circle with the three-legged star in it. But we are going to the circle with the top to down and the left to right. So it's the four-legged star.
So, Gilli, Pong, what were you proposing about the triple aspect of reality?
What do you mean?
So basically, what and the strongest worldview points to that.
No, you cut out for the first half.
Yeah, sorry, I'm walking down the stairs here and exiting my Wi-Fi. Okay. So duality is one way of understanding our reality, and that's the Tao. That's the yin yang, right? Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
When you look at the yin yang sign, how many components are in it? 4.
Yeah, it's the Tao for, like we said.
Yeah. But the triune understanding is that if you have that, you have also a witness to that.
Well, it's like good and evil. Good and evil is not a duality, but there's actually a middle where it's like if you go too far one way, it's evil, and if you go too far the other way, it's evil, and good's in the middle.
What does the word evil say to you?
Evil is like darkness. It's the absence of good,
Yeah.
just as darkness is the
Eve,
absence of light.
Eve, ill. Eve, ill. The feminine, not complete.
Yeah, this is a word concept fallacy, brother. Like you can abide by
You can throw it away.
evil,
You can
but
throw away
Eva in
what you want.
Icelandic doesn't make any sense. Like you can use language to that's what Apple I is doing. He's using English to he's
You're
contingent
talking to
upon
me in
English to make
language,
sense.
brother. You're talking to me in language, brother. So you're
I am.
accusing me of what you're using yourself.
No, you're using a word concept fallacy to make your argument sound,
You're still
and
using words
that's a
to
fallacy.
counter me. You're still using words to counter me.
Yeah, that doesn't disprove my
Consciousness
point.
expresses itself in words.
You have to use language to be able to be, you know, to be
It's defined
comprehensible.
language. It's
And if you use language in the wrong way, which I'm pointing to
the
you
wrong
as a
way.
word concept fallacy, then you can't appeal to that in your logical argumentation.
So how can you determine if I am using the wrong way and you are using the right way?
Because you're saying Eve is the essence of evil. But if you go into the etymology of
Did
evil,
Eve
it doesn't come from Eve.
Did Eve leave the garden?
Eve wasn't evil. She was ignorant. She didn't know what she was doing.
She did
So she
know.
isn't evil,
She did know what happened.
even though her name was Eve.
In the garden, we were guided by the feminine.
Yeah, in your
But at a
perspective.
certain point, you can compare it to what we experience in life. We are a young one, and we are guided by our mother.
Yeah, so the necessary
And our
entailment
father.
of your argument is that
And a
evil is
certain
feminine.
moment, a certain
That's just
moment,
wrong.
at a certain moment, adult life begins. We want to open our own life. That's the same story. The garden was our young life. Outside of the garden is our adult life. Man has to
Are you
do
a
it.
Christian, Lightwater?
No,
Why are you appealing to Christian ethos in your
because
argumentation?
I
I
see.
reject your argumentation completely because you're not a Christian, but you're
Yeah,
using it in this discussion right now
you're trying to
as
label
you're
me.
appealing to it in some way with your Gnostic understanding,
You're
which is
trying
just
to
wrong.
label me. We connected in the start. We are now separated with each other. That's all
Exactly.
right.
And that's
That's,
your doing, sir, because you're not a
no, no, no,
Christian
no,
and you're
no, no.
appealing to Christian
You're
ethos
seeing it as
as
me,
a foundation
my
of your
doing.
argumentation. And that doesn't make sense.
That you're seeing it as my
You're just a
doing,
liar.
but you are expressing yourself, and I'm now countering you. That's
In
not
what way?
me
How are you countering me?
by saying different stuff than you.
Oh, okay. Just saying different stuff than me, then you're countering me. Okay.
Yeah,
But that's not a logical argumentation. You do realize that, sir.
that's polarity, not duality.
You're just saying two different words that mean the same thing.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, you think you're making
Polarity is
sense,
one.
but you're actually just nonsensical right now, brother.
Polarity is one, and duality is two.
No, polarity is two. It means like the North Pole and the South Pole.
No.
Exactly. That's the point. You're just using language to confuse everyone right now, and it's your doing, not mine.
The North Pole and the South Pole are connecting to each other. They are one. You are trying to push me into being wrong, just for yourself to
Yeah,
be
which is
right.
the opposite of right, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
but
we
you
agree.
but
You
you
are wrong
deny what
in
you
your
have left.
argumentation.
You deny what you have left.
What do I deny?
It's called word salad to many people, but once you
Well,
understand
everybody who is listening to you understands that you are using word salad right now to make your argumentation and projecting it onto me.
yes, because many people are handling
Yes,
the
you
comfort
agree.
question.
So you agree.
They
So all
are
you have is word salad. You can just confuse different concepts and different
everyone
understandings and different meanings of language.
can
That's your
accuse
whole
another
point.
of using word salad.
You just did that to me, and I'm saying that you're projecting it onto me, and then you're saying that everybody can
Yeah,
accuse others of word salad. Like, what the heck is going on here, dude?
you're kind of right, but at the same time you're wrong because I'm
Yeah,
countering you.
exactly. That's word salad. Because
So
you're
I'm
breaking
giving
the
you.
law of identity, the
You are
law of the
giving me
secluded middle,
something,
and the
and I'm
law of
giving you something.
non-contradiction in your speech. You're breaking the classical laws of logic in your speech right now. That is the definition of word salad, brother.
What's wrong with you? You are too serious.
It's a very, very difficult conversation we're having
That's
right now.
not right.
It's
That's not
very,
right. If you
very
are too
important to
serious,
be
you're not right.
understandable. It's very, very logic in your speech right now.
What's wrong with you? You are too serious.
Very important for us to be understandable towards each other. It's a very, very difficult conversation we're having
That's
right now.
not.
It's a very, very difficult conversation we're having
That's
right now.
not right.
It's
That's
very,
not right. If you
very
are too
important to
serious,
be
you're not right.
understandable. It's very, very important for us to be understandable towards each other. And that is what I'm trying to exercise.
When
And I
people
take
laugh,
that very seriously in my
when
life.
people laugh in Discord,
Otherwise,
they
I
are
can't be
accused.
institutionalized by my family.
When
You see?
people laugh in Discord, they are accused of not.
We could reset and
Guys,
lighten it.
well, sometimes laughter is a symptom of hysteria.
Yeah, you can project anything on your wall.
Did you
Well, sometimes laughter is a symptom of hysteria.
Yeah, you can project anything on your wall.
did you know? I heard a study. Maybe you've heard of it too. That children generally laugh dozens of times a day. I think like several dozens. But adults sometimes even once, not even. So maybe it's important. It's important to laugh. Maybe the creator wanted us to laugh because even just think how ticklish we are and people are. Oh, go ahead.
I have difficulty to see your name. I connected with you on DM. Guy, who was I talking to? Sorry for not remembering what your name was, but
I'm John.
no. I know who you are.
Okay. Yeah, the other gentleman. Yeah.
I love you, man. I love you. Taking back.
Thank you. Likewise. Wow, honored. Thank you, bro. Love you too. I love you too, man.
It's so important to love each other, bro, guys. By the way,
Absolutely. We love people so much it hurts. Just like when you laugh so much it hurts. Love so much it hurts.
There's so much wisdom in pain, man.
Oh yeah. It's worth it.
What's the guy called? Sorry. He's not answering me, so
Are you talking about Gilli, Pong?
Yeah.
I'm not even knowing if I'm in Earth Awakening or in world debates.
You're in world debates right now.
Okay, thank you.
Just kidding. This is actually all just a dream.
This a dream. This a dream.
Just kidding. This is actually all just a dream.
This a dream.
Yeah, you were speaking to me, brother. Gilli Pong.
Hey, Gilli Pong. Good to see you, brother.
You too, brother. Consider our conversation as a gift
Yeah, absolutely.
from me to you.
Every
With
conversation, brother. Even if we
exactly.
even if we rub each other to the wrong side, it's all good.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. We have to justify our claims, right?
Yeah.
It's just a necessary precondition of conversation. There needs to be truth. Lies the essence of poetry and how meaningful poetry can be. You speak poetically, sir.
Yeah. And what you said about essence, that's so important. To see the essence of things instead of trying to exactly say what it's about. And I'm totally contradicting myself, but at the same time, it's so funny. I am from the dark side of Sirius, and there we have to joke a lot about ourselves.
That's meaningful, brother.
I'm
That's the
serious.
best way to
I'm
see. We
seriously
are
funny.
inherently retarded, brother. Hence my profile picture. But the thing is, like, if we go into the understanding of reality based on philosophy, you need to be logical. You need to justify your claims. You have to be straightforward, and you cannot deviate from the laws of logic in any way, shape, or form. But in
Yeah, but
poetry, you can.
yeah,
You can break the laws of logic, and still, when you read poetry, you make logical sense of it in the same
let
way as you look at art.
let me try to um, look at it and to dissect it. The unconscious. It sounds if you are not conscious, but it's really UN meets united consciousness. It's the all. We are connected with each other, no matter what. We are connected with each other, and it shows in these kinds of experiments with the monkeys that wash their fruits in the waters, and suddenly on other parts of the world they also do that. And there have been experiments, as I remind me, that there was a kind of asking difficult questions in Australia to people, and the answers they get back to it. And then they did it in England, and they experienced that more people answered rightly to those questions, or more diversified, or whatever. But it showed that we learned from it. So somehow we are connected with each other and it's difficult to accept it because we have constructed this ego where we pride ourselves on understanding the world. But it's so difficult because we are so much separated of each other. And it's not bad, it's good because that's the soup we were in. We were in thought and discarding the heart. That's what the experience was. It's the experience of pain, of the pain body. And it's okay, because there's a lot of wisdom to perceive in that. It's difficult to accept that. And I understand it from my own perspective. My own victimhood cries out a lot. But my hero side doesn't reject it anymore. It tries to connect with it. And I don't know. I don't know exactly how. I don't know exactly how to express it, but it's growing. Somehow,
How
it's
can
growing.
you escape the ego in your worldview?
Because you have to accept that you are guided to the self. Somehow you have to accept you have to bend down your knee to what is offered to you instead
By
of
whom?
by source.
Yeah. You call it source, I call it God. Right?
Yeah, it's part
Yeah.
of God. But it is, we have been living in a man age, and there's three components in the man age. It's the male upside, which is the grandfather. It's the feminine upside, which is the grandmother, and it's the male down, which is represented inside of us as the ego. But there's a fourth component that's coming back into life, that is the mother of all mothers. As she's guiding us to a new conception of understanding our real selves, connecting the infinite with the finite. What's important in that is the infinite doesn't care about pain, but the finite cares about pain because it's the physical. When those two parts connect, you can let go of that pain. I don't know if this makes sense to you or not, but that's what I see.
Yeah, there's a certain triune understanding in that statement that you just made. Like there's a 1, a 2, 3. The feminine, masculine, grandfather, grandmother, and then there's you.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the
But
end of
the point that I'm trying to get across to you as a friend, not as an adversary. I'm not taking the
You can be
adversary side of it.
you really can be. Sorry to interrupt you, but you really can be an adversary. I welcome an adversary. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the way we grow. We grow with suffering.
Yeah.
So
Why are you laughing? How
because
dare laughing?
we have to grow, and
Yeah.
if we're stagnant and we are in the same place, then, and like you were saying like a half an hour ago, we were talking about this, like you have to be able to reinterpret your ideas in some way. Otherwise, you're just a stagnant being. You're not
Yeah.
moving. Yeah.
You hold
You're
on
like
to
dead
things.
water. Like dead water, like a pool on the ground after the rain. It
Wow.
doesn't go anywhere because it's stuck.
Wonderful, and an analogy. Wonderful analogy. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah. So in order for us to grow, then if I can remember my point, because we keep going into poesy, brother, then we have to understand that the triune.
But whenever a third person arrives, you get, I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that, I'm thinking so. You get trouble. And that's what the heart is able to do, is to see order in that chaos.
Yeah. So one of the things that I realized over the passing week is that praying for others is better than praying for yourself.
Yeah.
Because it creates an empathy towards your fellow man, your neighbor, your ex-wife, your past, the ones who have passed over. You pray for them.
Yeah. It's
But
to forgive.
you're praying to the third, which is the witness.
It's to forgive yourself and to forgive others.
Yeah, exactly.
I did what I did before love came to town.
You're more Christian than me, LightWater. I'm realizing that.
I'm not
You are
Christian yet.
Christian. You keep appealing to Christian ethos, and I love that about
I'm
you,
not
brother.
Christian yet. I didn't see the light yet, but I have
Yeah,
the
but
feeling I'm
the
going
thing
that
is
way.
that, like when we were discussing, and you're using a certain way of communicating, and you're justifying your claim, you keep appealing to the Christian ethos, and that is so beautiful. And I think there's a subconscious element to this conversation right now that is part of you, that is maybe your upbringing or your past, But
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much. It means so much to me. It means so much to me.
I love you, LightWater. You just know that, even though I'm pressing you.
I love you too, man.
NBA. You were asking me a question earlier. I don't know if we managed to go through it.
Oh yeah, I think it was about like your tri aspect of reality or something like that.
Yeah, like this triune understanding. I think Pythagoras was like trying to figure it out through math, and he made math his god somehow and his cult. But there seems to be a very significant understanding in our reality, which is this minimal triune understanding, which would be intellect, will, mind, an aspect of our ego, heart, body, brain, like this triune understanding of everything that we perceive. 3D, length, width, and height, So that's the minimal triune principle that I point out, which is a defeater of the dualistic yin yang, 4 dimensions, 5 dimensions, different realities. The quantum physicist perspective, theoretical physicist perspective. You see what I mean?
Let me say this, Gilli Pong. I heard you from the start, but sometimes I doubted. But now I realize I doubted myself. I looked into the mirror. And I have to step through this mirror. Man, this is so amazing. I don't know how to express this.
God bless you, brother.
All of you love yourselves. Doubt yourself, but love yourselves.
Yeah. And then I also challenge, if you have someone in your life, whether it's just a neighbor or a family member, try to make them laugh, genuinely laugh. Maybe laugh so hard it hurts where they're crying. Sometimes that's one of the ultimate challenges.
Yeah, that's true, taking back. But don't try too hard. But if you're able to make people laugh, that's always a good experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when it's clean, it's true. It makes it like it's the most pure form.
I had this wonderful experience taking back. I'm just talking to you now. The other ones, close your ears. So I was visiting my friend, and his woman was not around, and he wanted to eat mussels. We are going to build our muscles. And he's
Yeah,
a
what do
wonderful,
you,
and
yeah.
he's really a wonderful friend. When I was in difficult times about now 5 months ago, he brought me 3 meals a week. He's such a wonderful friend.
What a blessing.
Yeah. And it's such a blessing, this guy, and I can't express it. I lost my thread, for fuck's sake.
Oh, that happened to me today. Yeah. Okay, we were talking about uh making people laugh. So was he have muscles?
Yeah. I was having this experience. I was eating these mussels with him, and I got depressed. And I was hating myself because he's such a wonderful friend, and I was getting depressed while I was eating at him. And then the
That's
next
funny.
morning, I came across the first thing I came across on Facebook was Baba Yaga. And Baba Yaga is a character. She's called a witch, and she very
Okay.
well. And what is said about the Baba Yaga character, she very well knows you, but she strips you of what you no longer need. And
Nice.
that's exactly what happened to me. I was stripped of everything I did not need anymore. And even I got the feeling that I was stretched to my limits. And I thought it was Mother Mary, because Mother Mary is very important in our lives. And but that's my victim side that tells me, Mother Mary Magdalene, or the grandmother, who is part of the mercy machine, she doesn't reward me. But somehow I don't want to tell how I got to it, but somehow I connected with it, that it's really Mary Magdalene that is helping me to see myself in all my glory and all my. And it gave me so much, because it reconnected me with the mass consciousness. I was afraid of mass consciousness because I didn't fit in it. But I somehow understood that it will be transformed to the all. When we connect with each other, when we connect with ourselves, we become our true selves. We become confident inside of ourselves, and we will recognize it in others.
So true.
And we can let go of the search of the physical, but because the physical is already inside of us, and we get room to search into the metaphysical. So see the differences in that, what is physical and what is metaphysical. It will give us so much more confidence inside of ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's and a lot of people need that. They've been kicked, beaten down by the government, so they no longer have the confidence.
Yeah.
And you can see that when they're through that Solomon Asch conformity experiment.
So you have to connect with the authority outside of yourself instead of the authority inside of yourself, and connect it with the grassroots. When each of us connect with our true selves, we become grassroots, the land of grace. Does that make sense to you, Taking?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I sometimes think you are way too soft, but you are very loving as well.
Oh, I have to. There's a famous line for that. He who has been given much has much is expected of him. So,
I love
and
to say this to you, man. I think you're way too soft.
no, it's an honor though. I love hearing people's. That's the whole thing about this experience. I mean, we're not just us. We're literally surrounded by so many people like us, but with their own thoughts, their own experiences, and to hear it, to hear their private, most personal beliefs. It's really an honor, and sometimes we take it for granted. Maybe
When I talk about
No, you're just soft, John. You're just soft.
when I talk about
Sorry.
this great friend who served me 3 times a week a meal, we pull each other's legs so many times because we trust each other. We trust each other so much that we can make fool of each other. It's so invigorant.
that's a good feeling. Yeah, that's a good feeling. Yeah. trust.
Sorry, I interrupted you, Guy.
Oh, Gilly left. Gio, are you here? By chance? I had a question for Gio. Unless anyone had some thoughts. I wanted to ask Gio about the shamanic flat earth. Because I've been creating, you know what, you guys? Because if you go to Google Images and then you type in Islamic flat earth, or you type in biblical Christian flat earth, or you type in North American flat earth, the images there are pretty bad. So I started using AI to generate like high resolution, very specific flat earth models. So it'll be out there on Google so people can, go to Google Images and they can find, oh, look at this. This is what the Norse people thought. So I want to do that for the shamanic. I know Gio said there's like a flat earth shamanic version. I couldn't find anything though on Google for that. But anyway, so I'll ask you. But I see Montreal here. Welcome, Elbow. Good vibes. What a great crew here. Snacks, Crizzle, NBA, Light. I wonder what do you guys have on your mind to talk about.
I just got in, started listening. What's up? What are you guys talking about?
It's open. So if there's anything you have on your mind, but no pressure.
Well, I was following the debacle of the war today while I was driving, and the latest.
Yes, but the problem would be
away from punishment base. And we're also forced to look at scripture from things that were so long ago that we really can't logically have any validity to it, when what we're really supposed to be doing is living in the current moment and trying to ascertain and use our discipline and discernment to live within where we are right now in the current moment. And that's the most important thing that you can do.
yes, but the problem would be is when there isn't a clear understanding of the rules. For instance, if a parent has a child, can you imagine if that parent didn't lay out any rules? Like, for instance, the first rule, I'm your parent, make no other parent before me. The second parent, the second rule is don't worship any other parent. Why? Because I'm your parent. No, the third rule, don't blaspheme my name. Why? Because I'm your parent. It seems like these rules that parents do naturally, even if they're atheists, are the same as the Ten Commandments given directly from God. Because you have to think, right? If you were going to create something, we look at all the laws that we're surrounded with, the laws in math, the laws of logic, the laws in science, right? Thermodynamics.
As we're going
So there's
along,
got to be more laws. But yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
so I would say that all of those laws are natural law, and they don't need to be written in stone. Now, when you're talking about your parents giving you and teaching you things, I think that's just part of natural law. If you have a baby, your job is to help that baby before in the in the time between it being able to develop on its own and learn how to understand the laws on its own. That's just part of natural law. But what I would say is, as I've been going through all of this and trying, flat Earth kind of led me into being more spiritual, and then that really in logic and learning on how to understand and discern. I think that the Ten Commandments is writing down whenever. So the Tao says every time you make a rule, you make rule breakers. There's no reason to write rules down that are
How do you know?
evident.
Is that true or is that a possible lie? Because either statement is true or false. can
There's a
rules make
dichotomy.
people? Yeah, can rules? Rules that naturally aren't gonna necessarily make the rule breaker, because the rules, if people agree with the rule, they're gonna love it, and then they'll literally defend the rule with their life. So I don't necessarily say that is a true statement.
Say again why you don't think so? Why do you think so? If you
Because,
make a rule, there is a rule to be followed. If so,
but you said
wouldn't
you
there be
said
by consequence be rule breakers?
no, because if I make a rule for this, like we have rules right here for this room. Like even you and I having a discussion, the rules are unspoken rules are when you're talking, I be quiet, I listen, and then vice versa. You know, so there's rules to basically everything. But the problem is people don't know the rules, and because they don't know the rules, they're breaking them. You know what I mean? Like they're going like we have Christians today who don't know the rules, and they're going around having sex out of marriage, making stealing, lying, making other Christians look bad, dishonoring their parents by being a lying thief. So
What
it's
is a
like,
rule? I guess but you're going all into
I'm
a
so
couple
sorry.
different places. That's
Yeah.
okay. So what is a rule?
So basically, I believe reality is based on like four axioms or four rules or self-evident truths. So the first is basically creation, and then when you create something, naturally it follows you're gonna have like you have the creation of time, space, matter, and then all the rules within this realm, right? The laws of physics, the laws of logic, the laws within math. So it only makes sense in a living human experience. There's going to be not just scientific laws, but moral laws because we live in a social. We're going to be social creatures. So there's going to be scientific laws, and then there's going to be moral laws. But the problem is when people don't want number one don't know the laws, they naturally are going to break them. So that goes back to your statement. Laws make uh, rule
Rules make
breakers.
rule
And I say,
breakers. Words. So every
yeah,
word has a word. A word is divisive. It's basically the same idea of the element. Whenever you make
yeah.
a word to describe something, you have two different sides of what that description of the word is. So every time by just making a word, you're dividing.
Okay, so
Same thing.
what we
Same
can
thing
do?
with rules. Same thing with rules. Whenever you make a rule, you're making the opportunity. So if you don't have a
Yes,
rule for
opportunity.
"thou shalt not murder," then there's just a natural law. If you do murder, there's natural. Hold on, let me finish real quick. There's natural consequences that come from things that you do in this natural world that are just evident. They are the really only rules. If you kill too many people and people see you killing too many people, there's going to be people that are going to gang up and stop you. There doesn't need to be a rule against that. That is the evident rule because it is the consequence.
So
So
you're saying,
by making a rule on top of that, you're creating a ruler, the person that is enforcing and making the rule, and that is above what would be what you would call God of the creation. Because
so what you're
it's not
saying,
necessary. There is natural law. There
so what
is.
you're saying, so basically what you're saying is let's say you're developing a sport like hockey, but a new version of hockey. You're saying that you wouldn't create rules that are very specific and rules for people to follow, and if they don't follow, there's going to be consequences. Do you know why? The rules actually make the fun. The more rules, generally, sometimes the more fun.
I
Why?
don't
Because
really agree with that. I think the
I
less rules,
totally.
the more fun.
Well,
But
that's the thing. I think we've been conditioned to disagree. But I want to argue. I want to attack your argument because I think
okay,
we can get on the
you're gonna
same page.
attack. All right, let's go.
Yeah, I would never attack you. Only the argument, and I really appreciate your time. So I agree. What I think you said, the last statement you said, is more accurate than the initial. And because here's what is going to happen when we create a rule. First, we're going to create one box, maybe in the space, like we're making a safe space for people because the rule is going to protect them. But there's also going to be another box for those who break that rule. So there also is not just going to be the rule for the people for their protection, but that rule is going to be also a means of way to separate people who don't. Why do you need separation? Because if there's no separation, the people are being taken advantage of, and those who are taken advantage of are going to be angry. And God, right? Just like you, and when you let people into your house, you'll never let people into the house who are going to make you or your guests angry, because you want to protect them. And same thing with God, I think. So that's why there's going to be two boxes: the space for those who follow the rules so they can enjoy, but there's going to be another space, like you said, for the rule breakers. But it doesn't necessarily follow that when you make a rule, you're going to automatically make a rule breaker. I think what it's more accurate to say is when we make a law, there's going to be a space for people to break that law.
So I would say that we don't make law. Law is evident. Law is part of the realm, the things that are unquestionable. Like
Yes.
when you drop something, it falls to the ground. When you kill something, it no longer comes back to life. When you, I can't really go through, but the evident things that are just the reality of our realm is what laws are. I think that when man tries to make their own laws, they are doing things that are contradictory to what is going to be useful. I don't say that you can't, but it's
I agree.
what I would say is many of the ancient prophets were basically the same. What I've found through basically all of them, they all seem to be saying the same thing: is that this attempt for man to rule over man and create all these rules is contradictory to what the harmonious nature of what our lives are supposed to be here.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you, but this is where maybe I will distinguish myself and maybe you would agree with me. We live in a world now where these men are stripping people of their God-given rights. You mentioned something, yeah, we're surrounded by these laws, but the thing is, we didn't make this place. So if we didn't make this place, we didn't make the rules. So whoever made this place probably made the rules, right? So
So I have a different idea, though, of that. I think that there's been several. I mean, I'm a conspiracy guy. I think there's been several resets. I think that there's been all kinds of attempts for man to try to become. I mean, I think I'm sure you've heard of like the demiurge and all of that kind of thing.
for sure,
So
yeah.
I think that there's been attempts of, and I honestly think that the Abrahamic God and the Bible that they use right now is one of the remnants of control that's resurfacing and has been used and tried to be used over and over again because of the dynamics of it. All truth is in it, but what I would say is there is a spirit, what people would call the Christ consciousness, that exists in our breath, that probably grows depending on the alignment of the celestials at certain times. I think that we're moving into a situation where AI and these cell phones are basically a mirror of what is already happening. I think that they're technology that's using what's already there. But it's also a mirror, so it's showing those two. And I think if we're able to, what's been hidden is it's not our responsibility. We're not gods. We're supposed to be here to help in our general life.
Help, yes. Yes, and I think that's very important. And here's an example why. Okay, here's a scenario I'd love to play out really quickly. Imagine two people, brother twins. They were ignorant of the law. They were going around doing XYZ,
Are we
but a
doing Cain and
police
Abel?
pardon?
Are we doing Cain and Abel?
No, no, no. We're gonna bring two people to justice, and we're gonna decide who do we want to extend mercy to. Both of them, one of them, or neither. So okay, so we have these two twins. They're creating the equal amount of crimes because whatever reason. Maybe they were told what the rules were and they disregarded because of selfishness. They're going around the world doing XYZ. They're stopped by the police finally. The police bring them to justice and we're going to bring them to the jail, and they're going to introduce the laws to them. They're going to, hey, you're actually arrested for A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Here's the counts. And now they're aware of the laws. Okay, and now they're being booked in, and then the police says, okay, we're gonna release you on bond, but you have a future judge. There's a future date for judgment. But here are the conditions for your release. Number one, you stop committing the crimes we just made you aware of. Number two, if you find, and this is the second one. Oh, hold on. First, actually, I want to finish the first one. Number one, you stop committing these crimes. Not only just you stop them, you don't even want to do them. You stop them so much where the thought of doing it is a hate. You hate it. Brings you pain. Number two, anyone you find doing the same thing, you tell them the same thing. Stop, because there's actually a judge. There are rules, and then please stop. That's it. Now they're released. One of the brothers decides to take the advice from the jailer, the police officer, or the Christian. They say, "Oh, you know what? Actually, I believe it. This could be true. I was brought to. This is serious. I'm going to change my life." Now the other twin, who is given the same information, decides, "Nah, forget that. I'm going to do whatever I want." Now they're both brought to the judge. You're the judge. Who would you extend more mercy to? The guy who decided not to take not just yours, but the people's will? Or would you go with he went with his own will? Or would you be more merciful to the guy who actually listened to your request? Thank you.
I really don't know. I mean, I'm not a judge, and I wasn't a part of the formation of the rules. It really just.
Okay, well, for me, I would.
I think that we can. I think that this thought experiment. So I think that it's not a bad idea if you're in certain situations to have rules set up but I think that the rules should be much more centralized into smaller. Like the larger the group, the less rules, because it's impossible to have any kind of representation of rules. So, I mean, like if you have a neighbor type situation where you have a community of neighbors, there's going to be. So personally, I think that there's a whole archetypal nature to our existence. I think that it's zodiac driven and it has something to do with when you're born. And I think that we all have different attributes. And if we coalesce in the right situation, we're very powerful. But it's because we have lost our sense of what our purpose is. The people that we have that are very high attribute people that have the ability to really do things and organize are just being pushed into wrong situations and way too big and spread out, where it should be much more. I just think that there's a natural tribal instincts and tribal cohesiveness to us where rules it's kind of more like into the Greek understanding of like, it's more of instead of having a moral based, I've heard of people talk about when we get into digital, it's eventually going to get to like this, I forget what they call it, moral based currency, basically, where you'll get demoted and get denoted for having wrong actions in front of people. I think that actually happens in the right situation if you have a strong moral like group of people. And I think in a lot of ways that's how the Greeks were, where your words that you said were going to be scrutinized. So you made sure if you were going to say something, you said it in a way that was very logically sound, because if you didn't, you were going to be held to that for the rest of your existence. Because one of the worst things that happened to our society, I think, is the ability to live so far outside of our means of what we're supposed to. We can drive a car in one day and go from one side of the country to the other. So we have this whole vast realm that we're a part of that we're naturally not supposed to be a part of. I think that there are, and it goes back to the archetypal nature. I think that there probably are archetypes that should do some traveling and intermingling between, but there are many that shouldn't. And most of us are living way beyond our means of what we should be. That's why we have such difficult times, and we try to mask ourselves with so many things because we feel even people that are living as well as they can live have struggles with not doing enough according to their purpose. And the only reason why they think that is because they're living way beyond what their natural means were supposed to be in the first place.
Well said.
So
Yeah,
I just,
maybe that's the beautiful thing about like the rules. We have look at the law system. There's rule after rule after rule. Like you need see the books behind the in the lawyer's office. It's like an entire bookshelf, like of an
right.
entire room. Imagine if basically it boils down to 10 or 2, right? We got the 10 fingers, the 10 perfect laws, and then we have 2 hands. And basically, the standard, just like a parent says to the child, trust, I have rules for you. Just, love me because I've given you everything. Or,
Right.
yeah. And then the second one, treat everyone else like you want to be treated.
Yeah,
And
that's the biggest one. That's
yeah,
the golden rule, really.
exactly. So if everybody knew this, and wanted to do this like willingly, yeah, man, this world would be like heaven on earth.
Most people do know that, but they don't. Part of it
Yeah,
is it takes so much courage to be able to step away from. I mean, I could get deep into it, but I think the monetary system is what holds this thing all together. And I actually think
yeah.
I don't want to offend you, but I think it's linked to the Abrahamic God and the Bible of the God. I think all of that's kind of intertwined together in God we trust. I think that every time, and I'm going to just say this, I think that this God, I think there were many gods at one time, and they may have not been called gods. They may have been called something completely different, but somehow we've siphoned this down to this God, which I think it's spell casting, and I think it's going to something that's different than what we think. And by giving a God is only as powerful as the amount of people that believe in it. And if everybody's believing in one way or another, whether they're atheist or not, it comes down to whether you believe in God or don't believe in God. That is still giving it power. And that's what creates the umbrella over us. And I think they link it to Jesus, which is supposed to be a completely different thing. Like the way that was Jesus, the entire story of Jesus was completely different than this entire structure of God that's been created and attributed to Jesus, who is supposed to be the Son of God and God at the same time. And I think that there was a Jesus movement that was very powerful, that was uncorruptible, that they
Yeah.
have been able to incorporate into this and take it from what it was in purest form because they're afraid of it if it happens, because it spreads so fast and it's completely contradictory to any kind of civilization that they've tried to create to control
So
it.
true.
I
So
agree.
true.
It's been co-opted. I think Christianity's been co-opted.
Absolutely, Gio. And yeah, that was really well said. And it's
So
interesting because I saw a video
go
of a
ahead.
guy in Netherlands. They were basically at a gay parade, and the gay there was a group of young men who were, some people think, mocking the Last Supper. They had Jesus there. They're all gay, and they're like, so people could be saying Jesus says this, Jesus says that, when he doesn't say that. You know what I mean? Like, so
Right.
yeah,
I tried to watch a Sermon on the Mount the other day just because it is pretty powerful when you listen, but I think that they've actually corrupted it and made it say what they wanted to say. But there's good stuff in all of it, really. That's the only reason why it works. If it wouldn't work if it was all bad. It's just
yeah.
what they've done to create fear and the way that they've used judgment. Like I don't want to put Christians into the same boat, but that's the ones that I actually really want to try to reach the most, is because I think that this idea of living in your current moment and what you just said, the golden rule of treat everybody as you just to treat yourself, but it's literally like you literally do it, would change everything. But we can hold ourselves to a different standard because we go to church and because we have this status from being a born again Christian and all of these different things that are intertwined. That's why I was kind of saying earlier is there's no reward for being a good person other than just the effects. In fact, whenever you do get rewarded, that's what the Tao teaches, is that it's almost a negative to you, because once you start walking well, people start looking at you and start walking behind you and start talking to you. And that affects how you started to walk in the first place, which actually hurts you and condemns you from what you were trying to do in the first place. So that entire idea, I think, is what's been kind of lost from it. And it's still there, but they've corrupted it into a lot of different ways. But the Bible seems to be a big part of it for me. And just because I don't know, what I never understood when I got into the truth movement was or if you want to call it, that's so stupid to give labels to that kind of stuff, but you'd always have these people that were so skeptical and had all these like logical debates. And then when you start to talk to them about the Bible and where the origins for the scripture are, and that it has to have been corrupted, it mind boggled me. And that's when I realized it's just such a powerful spell. It's just such a powerful spell that it keeps.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm good.
It
I've
is
been
corrupted?
talking a lot.
No, it's okay.
I think the Bible has been, I think it's bound. It's been done in a way that has taken a lot of things that probably actually happened. I honestly think there was a reset, more than one probably, and they took something that was already existing and things that were already existing, and they tried to corral it together into one thing so that they could use that as their major control. People that knew and were well read in the Bible were like the main leaders of the repopulation.
Okay. Have you heard of the idea? Oh, yeah, that could be a definitely strong possibility. Have you heard from scholars that say that, and can even show people that it is probably the most cross-referencing verified documents of all documents of ancient antiquity? In fact, if you look at the next one in line, there's the next books in line that people take for gold as a gold standard of truth, has only probably 300 manuscripts to back it up, where is the Holy Scripture supposedly, or you could stack it up to it like a mile higher or even higher. So, and the difference is, okay, so we have these documents that have been separated by space and time. So when people brought them back together to see, has there been corruption? Because imagine there's a set of books 100 miles away, because people spread, right? They got their scribes, they got on the donkey or the camel and they went. Now they're 100 miles away. To expect that someone can go to every single scripture back in those days and plant it over here, plant it over there. And then what happened was, when scholars came together to cross-reference them to see if there are any outliers, I don't think there were any outliers, and the only outliers were spelling and grammar and whatnot. So I don't know. Like, it seems like the scholars.
I would start with the first thing that you said, that there's nothing is verifiable and cross-checked. It's because it was the Gutenberg press was like a big issue with the Bible. They produced it first. I mean, that was like the biggest thing that they put out. And I would say the further you go back, the aging that they used for most of these scriptures, a lot of what they found were in the 40s and the 50s, after, like, in the last 150 years of what they used to verify and give veracity to what the scriptures were. But even with that, like the oldest stuff, as I went back and looked at it to cross-reference and check it, it looked like there was not full manuscripts. There were pieces of scripture that were much more, because the language was much simpler, were much more defined and smaller. So, I mean, to say that they're the same as what this, like, King James Bible is we have now, or whatever Bible you want to hold as your big Bible, I don't think it's accurate. I think that they are not the same. They're just showing things that were older, and they're saying we found this at 60 AD, and the aging system is like they didn't even have those dates.
Well, okay, thank you. Have you heard about or researched the Reformation from the 1500s or 1400s and prior to the pre-Reformation? Are you familiar with this? What took place across Europe with the Catholic church basically lying to the population?
I know there's a lot of killing going on too, right?
Okay, so essentially, think of it like this. Okay, the time after Jesus' death, not only did you have the Jews wanting to have a cover up, you had the Romans because of lies. They were involved in the cover up, but because you can't stop the truth, potentially, right? Could be potentially truth. If God is making this the truth, it will survive and thrive. So what's happened is the Roman persecutors became believers themselves, and then so they had all these writings because they have the power. They can capture all these Christians. They know what they're reading. They know what they're writing. They know what they're sharing. So what happened was they had a church when they became leaders after Constantine, the very first one. And interestingly enough, the history of Constantine is epic because apparently has the very first recorded excavation in the history of mankind where they
But
found the tomb of Jesus.
when you're looking at these things in the 13 and the 1400s, most of what I've found in the 13 and 1400s is the real documentation is from people in the 18, 19, 2000s that are giving interpretations of what they think went on. I mean, there's
Well, okay,
not
if I
like
could just really
it's like
finish,
for
I'll need just
Constantine,
30 seconds.
but
I
okay,
promise.
that's fine.
I promise. Okay, thank you so much. And then, so essentially, this was the lead up. So because now these Romans had the books of the Jews and these Christians, some of the priests were using that for sharing knowledge. But then there was obviously evil people, so they infiltrate. And then what happened was when they became the new popes and whatnot, they had the information, but what they did was they lied to the people across Europe. So what they said was, "This is the word of God, everybody." But do you know what it says? If you want forgiveness, you got to pay us $5 if you stole, $10 if you lied, $100 if you murdered someone. This is the will of God. If you don't do it, you're going to go to hell. So people across Europe literally fell for this lie. That's not what the scripture said. That's not what Jesus taught. But because of the ignorance and the gatekeeping of these Roman rulers, for 1,000 plus years, now we're going to go, because Constantine was in the 300s. So for 1,000 years of keeping people all across Europe in bondage by saying, this is the holy book, we are the translators. But then with people within the church basically found out, no, that's not what they're saying, right? And then basically this one guy, I forgot what his name was, but he basically, because they were using the Latin Vulgate, people were speaking English, they were speaking German, so they didn't understand Latin. So what this one guy did, I forgot Rasmus, he basically put on the page one half the Latin Vulgate, the other half exactly what the scripture said. And everyone across Europe found out, just like Flat Earth, there's a cover up. It's not a globe. You mean forgiveness is free? So basically, they kicked them all out of Europe, and these guys went back to Rome. The money stopped flowing because for 1,000 years, these guys are getting rich every weekend. They won't go back to Rome, and now this is the game plan, and this is where we are today. The guys who basically used the book against the entire world by misrepresenting it are now going to turn on the book itself that the people have. Like Flat Earth, we have the Flat Earth truth, but now these people turn it against us and say the Flat Earth is wrong. Don't believe it. Here's the evidence. We went to the moon. And that's what happened. They were debating it in the 1500s all the way to today until the 1960s, where Satanists, went to the moon and said, "Look, it's a sphere." Not knowingly to all the other people in the world, saying, "Look, the Bible was wrong," and that's where we are today. And thank you for giving me that space. I'd
No,
love
you're
to hear
fine.
your thoughts.
Well, you say the word of God too, and so I think that's when I usually get into these discussions. I think the best way to do it is really establish whether it's even logical or discernible to say that the Bible is the Word of God. So I think that's the first place to start. But what I would say is the fact that people are misinterpreting it for the last 400, 300 years to do mass atrocities is part of what I would say is what leads to my argument that this isn't written by God. It was put together, and there's truth in it, and there's also ways that you could discern. It was a bunch of stuff put together. There was this Abrahamic God that was the God of the flood that was combined with. So there's a bunch of stuff in Old Testament that can be can be used by nefarious people to talk about a vengeful and jealous God.
My friend, how do you know? How do you know? Just honestly, how do you know you aren't falling for the same trick that people said now turned on the Bible? Because everyone had the Bible because of the printing press. How do you
Because
know you're not falling for the same propaganda that the people who are lied about the Bible now say don't believe the Bible? So, and now you're kind of doing the same thing. How do you know the information that the people who don't want you to believe the Bible, because obviously if the Bible sets people free, they do not want you to believe it. So how do you know you are not working on their behalf?
my logic and
Unknowingly.
my logic and discernment is what I use. And so it kind of goes back to the beginning of what I was saying about how we live in the now. So we're sitting here debating about spirituality concerning a book that was written that you're giving a lot of like educational research type answers of things that you're very passionate about. But I would say if I was on the other, and if I was as well versed as you were, I could pick apart everything that you said as
Oh,
far as a
for sure.
logical understanding. And what I'm saying is it's a waste of time. Like I don't think that um so I don't like saying God actually because I don't think it's the right word. But when we say God, I think we're just giving power to this God that has control over everything that we're doing here on this earth. And what I would say, I'm very Taoist and it's not Tao. What we have is not Tao. The Bible, from when I read it, is not Tao to me. It's not the way. Like there's things in it that are the way. There's and I also resonate with Jesus in a completely different way than what I do with the Bible. I
Okay,
would
then
say that
since let's get rid of the Bible just for a moment because your doubt in the Bible. Let's focus on God. So, do you think God is a good God? Yes or no?
I don't think that good and bad or good and evil are
Yeah.
the right way to discuss this because I think there is evil that can't honestly if you want me to really get deep into it I think there's a father which is the light. It's it is a god in itself and it's what we call God but it's actually light. It's energy.
Yeah.
um,
Okay. Let me give you some. I'll expand your options so you can choose. You can have more options.
Mortal life you can kind of talk about good and evil and God and being good and bad but it doesn't really matter because outside of this there's a whole nother thing that we can't really comprehend.
No, no. This is has huge implications, and I'll argue why. Because you
Well,
said the more we worship
I
God,
didn't get it finished though. So let me explain what I think. So I think there's a natural law. I think that there has to be good here to have evil because you can't just have all good. This is a play of life. And so I think that what you would call evil is your mortal instincts here to survive and your animalistic instincts to try to keep alive can sometimes cause you to kill, can sometimes cause you to steal, can sometimes cause you to lie because you're mortal. You're in this realm and you're trying to protect what's yours in this realm. But then there is what you would call good, which is the light, which is what reveals everything that's done in the dark. So if people see you killing somebody because you're trying to protect yours, but it happens to be a baby, they're going to look at you and see, and so will the creator, and know that you're not doing what is right in that moment. And I think
well,
that's
this is
really
kind of
I think it's logic. So I think there's a play between logic and your animalistic instincts, honestly,
no. I
basically.
get that. I get that. But let's maybe if we could just I could get your opinion on God himself because this has huge implications. Because I would argue against what you propose that the more we think about God, the more we give this God power, quote unquote, that is a terrible thing. And I would
I don't think
argue,
it's terrible. I think that everybody doing it creates a world where he rules.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. There's implications. If of course, if God is evil, only evil, the more power we give this evil God, there's going to be implications, right? We like number one, people wouldn't. I don't want to worship an evil God. Most people don't want to have evil friends, so that's a huge implication. So no one should be worshiping that God. But if God is good, the
So
complete
would you say
opposite, I
would
argue
you
that
say
people
would you
should
say
be worshiping this
would you
God.
say jealousy is evil?
No, but it's practical. I'll tell you why. If you
No.
have
The reason why I'm saying that, so I'm not saying that when you're worshiping God, you're worshiping evil. I'm saying you're worshiping something that is, you're putting your energy into one thing
well,
instead
that
of the
one
full
thing is not going to
balance.
be
Instead of
vague.
the full
Yeah.
balance.
The
Well,
thing is, the thing about
you've given it
worshiping,
the
though,
opportunity.
like about God, it's not vague. It's not about a thing. It's actually about a set of things. We could probably go on for ages about what those things are and how complex and accurate and right they are. But it's not
Well, I would
something like
say
as
God
vague
is
as it.
money right now. I would say it's
Yeah, people
God is.
worship. Yeah,
What's that?
yeah, for sure. People treat God. That's their idol. They've turned their worship from God to an idol of money.
Right.
Are
I
you
think
guys in
Yeah.
a
it's
one-on-one?
no. You can go.
Okay. You guys. I'll find a nice spot to insert myself.
Okay.
Keep
Yeah.
on going.
No. We're just talking. I haven't been on for a while, and I heard SE talking about a spider that was paralyzing things and torturing it. So
It's crazy.
I felt like jumping in.
It has been a great combo. So
Nature's
yeah, this
brutal.
is. Oh yeah, it is brutal for sure.
Can I ask you a question, Eden?
Yeah, thank you. I'd be
Um,
honored.
so I gotta paint about three details to this scenario. So say God can't intervene in life, and also he can't punish you uh on a whim when you die. Uh if God so he's basically just completely hands off, okay?
Okay, okay.
If God um if God was good or evil in that situation, would it change the way you treat yourself and others?
I think so because I think everything has implications. Just like there's connected dots, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I think there's going to be consequences. How we
So God's
view.
evil. I don't see how it's related. Like, okay, God hates humanity, God loves humanity, but he's a completely hands-off God. Uh, I don't see why that would have an impact on h- how I treat people around me.
You want to come
God's
in?
evil. I'm not gonna start killing people because like, what does he have to do with my feelings about, respect for others and love?
Uh, yeah, I guess we could argue about like a hands-off God. I answer, but what if that was the answer? So, but I do see evidence of him being. And oh my gosh, you know what's on my television? A hand coming from the
What?
sky over the ground. Oh my goodness! Just like we're
Oh, that's
talking
a
about.
cool synchronicity. Now
Yes.
you're kind of adding things back into my question that I specifically explained were not involved. I said if you can't intervene, if you can't reach down, and change things or do things or affect things in this world, and he also can't punish you for he can't punish you for not being aligned with his will, uh, then why would you change the way you treat people if he was evil?
Yeah. If those were the only rules that he says, like I'm going to be hands off, and he doesn't give any instructions, and then it
And he
doesn't have
hates
any
you.
consequences, and he hate. Yeah. So
It
I
wouldn't
think.
change anything about the way you behave towards others, right?
Uh,
You're not going to start being mean to people just because God hates humanity. That's no excuse for you to be mean.
oh, absolutely. Well said.
So,
Well said.
so your decision to be nice to people is just, well, in this situation, it would just be like, hey, I prefer treating people kindly, and I don't care if God orders me or insists or would prefer that I kill everyone around me because I make my own choices.
Yeah.
But of
Are you
course, you
guys
don't view it
familiar
that
with
way, and I get that. Go.
Fundy? I want to expand on what Fundy's saying because I like where his line of thought is going on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if God, yeah. So if God, like, he enjoyed human suffering and he despised humans, for me personally, it wouldn't change how I treat people around me, right? Ultimately, and on top of that, as a human, I'm kind of a stakeholder to the world that I build, right? Like the world I build for my children, that my children are gonna have to live in. Like we're all stakeholders because we're like, you know, mortal suffering creatures, right? We're God under the definition of God, right? Like you can't be harmed or damaged, or he can't be chipped away in any way, like he can't be brought down. So he's not really a stakeholder to our suffering, right? So I think that would then argue that like he's saying, like if you found out that God just despised humans and in fact he actually took pleasure from watching us suffer, that wouldn't mean that you would like be like, well shit, I'll just be like Hitler then and start like, you know, putting people in concentration camps and right, like
Well,
Dude,
what?
even
Either
if
way,
God would
in
reward
both
me.
of either way in both of the scenarios, you'd be going to hell.
No,
yeah,
I
but I
said you
mean
can't. In my hypothetical, there, I said God can't punish you in the afterlife for not aligning with His will.
Yeah, do you know what hell is?
There's many definitions. There's obviously
separation
the
from
common
God is like
idea of it from cartoons,
Separation
and
from
then
God.
there's
Okay.
some flowery thing about like separation from God.
Yeah. So then that would be hell, and that's what you're saying.
but so I would that
You'd
wouldn't
be
be
separated from you, so therefore you'd already be in hell.
if
Well,
it was
Jake, you go
God's
ahead, and then I have a thought.
yeah, like if it was God's will for you to like torture children or you go to hell because you're not following his will, you're going directly against his orders. Well, fuck him. I'm the stakeholder. The children that he's asking me to torture are the stakeholders. God himself can't be harmed in any way. Then fucking fine. You're gonna punish me, then punish me. Like what can I do, right? Like I'm gonna believe in what I believe in, and it doesn't matter. You know, the might is right. You know, the mafia boss. Okay, he might have all the cards and have all the power, but fuck him. You know, screw the mafia boss. You know, run ice picks through my eyeballs and fucking smash my toes with a hammer,
No,
right?
Dude,
no.
I don't know
I,
how
I
you.
still
Dude? What are you doing? Like, what does that have to do with anything anyone has said?
Oh, no, no.
I
Well, I
mean, it
could
sounds
tie something
relevant.
to it. Yeah, I could tie something
Dude,
to
I
it.
was just
Jake,
saying both scenarios are in hell. Like you'd be
Yeah,
going to hell in both scenarios. That's
just
all.
just by that definition of hell, which I know that's a base definition that a lot of people agree with. It's obviously not like the common cartoon version of hell, you know.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, oh, sorry.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Oh,
No, you're
funny.
good,
Can
man.
I? Thank you. Can I turn it around on you now? I'd love to ask you a question because you said would it change the opinion of this person on how to treat people? So what if it's like this? There's a true dichotomy. Either God is connected to us invisibly, so when we have pain or we are hurt or sad, because he's connected. Because here's the dichotomy: he's not connected, meaning there's a disconnect. He can't feel. There's no way for the transmission of info of our pain to him. But if he is literally connected to us invisibly, and
Okay.
then he does feel the pain.
Okay.
So that would that change our
What's the
opinion of
question?
God? So yes, would that change your opinion on God if he does feel your pain? Would that maybe change your opinion on God himself?
You you are you implying that I have a belief that God is a disconnected thing right now that
Oh no,
doesn't feel my pain?
no. This is basically an open question. Like this would be would uh if
You're gonna have to
people
ask it a different
understood.
way because you're
Yeah.
putting me in like this place that I'm not at, and then you're
Oh,
saying, would
sorry.
it change your mind if I described if this were actually the case? It's like, well, I'm kind of already at that place, so no, I can't change my mind from where I'm already at.
Oh yeah, I should have said okay. I should have made it more like general. If people understood that God was literally connected, because he is literally connected, would that influence their opinion on God? Because either he's not connected and he doesn't feel their pain, so maybe they couldn't empathize or with God because he doesn't feel the pain or there's no connection. But if it is true that there is a connection, right, that totally
I mean, no,
changes the outlook of the person, perhaps.
I mean, no offense at all by this, but there's some idea of a type of person who's not what you're describing. And I don't even know what kind of person like, you're kind of giving me an incomplete equation to solve here. You're saying, would people change their minds if they had this view? Well, who are you talking about in the first place? What's their set of beliefs? And you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not giving me an A and B.
Oh, yeah, I guess I should think it through. I was just thinking, because if people think, like, if there's a lie about God, misinformation, people say God is distant, he doesn't care, he's not
Oh,
involved.
okay.
That's a
How about
lie.
this?
Yeah.
If a person who believes that God is a distant, uncaring, hands-off, basically creator who created it and then went on vacation and never looked back, if they were proven to them that they found out God is actually feeling everything they feel and watching over them like a loving parent or something, uh, would that change the way they basically do everything for the rest of their life? Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, I think so too.
I'm going to jump in for just a second. So, like, part of what I was talking about, though, is so if you're going to talk about God and you're throwing it into this one God there could quite possibly be many levels. Like this creator God that you guys keep talking about, that would be the one that you'd be attributing all these personal, like humanistic type attributes to, might be the creator might actually be way above that. And then there might be a level below that, like the Titans. And then below that are these gods that we talk about. And whichever one of these gods that we talk about creates the realm that we're in. And that's what I've been trying to say. We're putting all this energy into this God who we say created us. They didn't create us. They just are the God of this realm. And there's something above them that we're trying to give as like the ultimate supreme being. And that supreme being is completely it's completely outside of this figure that we're putting on top. And that's where
That's
I
a
think
proposed option I'm willing to entertain. But for me, everything's on the table, including what you just said.
I just think the Greeks, that's kind of what the Greeks talked about and kind of what Hinduism is about. It's this
Is it
idea.
like, are you getting that like as a direct revelation from the God? Or like when you say anything can be put on the table, is it like we just, you could just make it up as you go? Or I don't understand how it's
Good
working right
question.
now.
Well, can't it?
Well, New Day here is telling me his beliefs on God, and you're telling me your beliefs on God. And what am I supposed to do? Just pick one? It's that simple. Just pick one
No,
of you two. How am I supposed to do that?
no, that's not what I meant at all. I was just wondering like I was wondering if it's important for like this experience you're having that you've come to the conclusion the God might be like this in some way. I'm wondering, wouldn't that be like a revelation that you got from the God? Or like, I
Uh,
don't know.
I think
I mean,
there's energies and thoughts that come to us, and that could be coming from that. What I'm trying to say is these gods that are over us that are intermingling with our realm that has nothing to do with the creator. There's a creator above that. That's what
You
I
know
was
what?
trying to say.
You know what's interesting about that idea, though? That was a very popular idea in ancient Greece. But do you know what we see in modern times? The same group that had all these beliefs in gods, like Zeus, they're like I think the citizens are like 95% Christian.
Well, that doesn't tell me anything.
Well, it seems like they've done a radical shift
You think we've
from like
progressed? You think we've progressed as a species?
to the
You
truth.
don't
But
live
yes,
like
that's
a
why
king.
Christianity is
Wait,
the number
you
one
don't live
religion.
like a king. You don't live in a house.
I would
You
say
don't have
that
like
it's
a
actually
beautiful
probably.
front lawn. Think
I would say
about what you need to do to get hot water right now
all of that. I
compared
would
what
say is
someone would
bad.
need to do to get
Maybe
hot
that's
water
maybe
back
that's
in the
bad for me.
1100 or
Maybe that's
something
bad for
like
my
that.
soul. Maybe that's bad for my soul that I'm that comfortable.
That you live
one
like
at
a
a
king.
time, guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I'm not able to. Suffering actually leads to growth.
I agree. I understand
Not
that
all suffering.
principle. I understand that principle, but what I'm saying is you're saying back then, those people with those beliefs, the world looked very different
Well, I don't know
because
what
there
it
was
looked like.
things like slavery.
They created these huge
We can't
buildings.
know anything. Yeah, I got it.
No, I mean, but there's definitely some eye-opening things that are in every main street in America and all the way across that doesn't really line up with the narrative. I don't know what they had. They definitely had ability to be able to communicate across continents. They were definitely more evolved than what they've told us. So
Where
I'm
are
not
we at
saying
right now? I'm getting lost.
we're at a place called America that was made by some map maker from Italy named Amerigo Vespucci.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a funny response. I appreciate that. What's the topic though?
Well, I'm just saying that we were saying that the older world that they were trying to give credence that the Greek, the people that were part of the Greek, were less evolved, and then they evolved into 90% Christian, and now we live like kings because we have hot water. That's what I think kind of the conversation went to.
I get the points and I get the bias. I'm not trying to use that as a negative word. Um, you can be biased from like a knowledgeable position, you know. But whatever. I mean, all right. That doesn't really address any of the crucial foundational differences. You know, obviously you're representing a side here tonight, right? Since I
Who, me?
joined in like 20 minutes ago, you know, you're kind of the guy, and Eden and uh Torah are, you know, that's kind of the other side, and so it's all happening right in front of me right now. You
It's
versus
fun.
them, basically.
It's a good summarization.
It's been a pleasant convo. Thank you for your patience so far, for everyone. You guys are great.
Yeah, nobody's got any
So
answers.
what?
Christianity created the modern society that you speak of, and not other influences. Why isn't like North Nigeria prosperous with hot water as well?
Many places without Christianity have hot water, fireworks, beautiful creations of literature and art and society. Hey, is the Bible the crowning jewel of the Western world? You know what? Sure, I'll give it that. Uh, have similar results been gotten to without the Bible? Yeah. Could you say ours is better? Yeah, America is the superpower of the world, so it's got an advantage there, a leg up. But I'm not trying to have such a shallow conversation as to using those as like mic drop points. Hey, the most powerful country in the world happens to be Christian right now. So boom, I believe in Yahweh.
Well,
It's like, you know, it's great. That's great. I don't mind them mentioning it, but it's like that's not like the end of the conversation.
At all, because the
well,
same thing goes
it's
with both.
untrue. It's the separation of church and state, supposedly, right? You weren't a theocratic nation up until the last election.
Yeah, it seems like there's always changes.
Uh, I watched a really good video yesterday, Eden, on solo scriptura. I probably said that a little bit wrong, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, scripture only,
Uh,
only scripture.
right. And which sect of Christianity is most famous for that opinion or holding that standard?
I think it was. I don't know if it was uttered before Martin Luther, but many men before Martin was inspired by those who were put to death. Prior to him, John Wycliffe, I think, was a few, and a few other great men. But yeah, I
But
think it
right
was
now, is it the Protestants that
the
would be like
Protestant.
most associated with that idea?
Yes, yeah, because they wanted. But back then, it was the Pope's authority or the Bible's authority. Because, like back then, remember where they were selling forgiveness, which the Bible doesn't say that forgiveness is a free gift of God. but they were selling it. So back then, they were saying the Pope's word over the Bible. And they were trying to use authority of the appeal to authority
Well, they just
to
keep
this
telling
man
you
over the
over and
text.
over that it's a hell in Jerusalem.
Now, would you say that's an overcorrection? Do you think sola scriptura is too much of an overcorrection?
Not necessarily, because I think that perhaps because if God does have a certain very specific rule set, if it's the truth, then any deviation is going to be uh, not really useful to anyone.
Sure, but when it comes to understandings, like the guy
Can I give you one example?
watched
Oh,
for
sorry.
sure, man.
Okay, because for instance, sola scriptura. Today we have Christians that say, "Don't worry about what the Bible." In fact, that's not what the Bible says. But I have what other textbooks say. So this is a perfect example of the modern day Christian saying sola scriptura. Why? Because if God is powerful enough to make the sun, the moon, the stars, this earth, this firmament, He can use the same power to write His very specific instructions and make it last.
But he didn't write
I've heard
the.
some Christians that quote they'll like to explain the way that ancient Hebrews viewed cosmology. They'll cite experts rather than appealing to scripture.
Yeah,
Do
because
you
the thing
consider
is,
that a problem?
no, because for instance, none of us here, because of I doubt, prove me wrong. I don't think anyone here has a degree in ancient biblical languages. So if you don't have the skill set to determine what these texts say, I think it's fair to hear the opinion of those who actually who were given that time and space to examine the text to say what it actually says.
So we need something more than scripture to understand scripture.
Yes, you need it to match with reality, I think, right? Like, for instance,
People coming up with their own understandings based on lived experience and then turning it into a fictional narrative. The same thing happens in physics and scientism. We have to create this narrative that virtual photons are being exuded and expressed omnidirectionally by magnets. It's like, wow, the way humans love to take some sort of aspect of reality and comfort themselves to make them feel like they're not directly facing some sort of mystery that perhaps is unsolvable entirely. But we'll want to tell them, no, we figured this out. Here's our answer, and don't ask questions because that'll reveal our shortcomings. Just buy into our system of explanation and leave it there. Don't push it too far. That's no way to make friends.
So if the movie prepares you for some other type of trickery disclosure that they're really going to do after the movie, then you might already be set up mentally and emotionally because of the patterns that were introduced to you subversively when you watch the movie. That would be a mix of overt signals too. So it would be a mix of underhanded ones that were done subversively and the overt messaging also, a blend.
Yeah, it's a multi-pronged attack on most people who aren't, they don't have their psychic barriers up and prepared defensively. Luckily, most of, I'd be preaching to the choir to talk about any of that sort of stuff. We're all good. It's what we appreciate about each other. I'd be playing dumb like Jeremy if I were to go on some sort of lecture about like, oh, I need to warn you guys. No, you guys are good.
Well, you do need to worry about the alien deception because it's part of all the deceptions that we've been dealing with for all long period of humanity now. We go back and forth from periods of less deception, periods of more deception. We're in a period of great deception right now.
Yeah, I'd say more than ever.
I might agree with that more than ever, but I haven't been around long enough to gauge that.
The reveals that too.
But I did notice that everything they do crime-wise is they expose it. There's truth being told. So while they leave things out, omissions, and then while they twist and turn other things and just alter sentences with just slight words, like you can do a sentence and change all the meaning by changing a or the. Just a simple touch, little thing like that. So with all the tricks that they're capable of, they can show us
Or
the truth, but
commas.
also deceive us at the same time. So they can literally show us the truth while deceiving us.
Yeah, even just the placement of a comma can completely redesign the meaning of a sentence, or like you said, the or whatever.
Well, yes, and in speaking, it's in the inflections and the sequences. So the same thing with changing the sequence of the words, changing the inflections, that changes the whole ultimate changeover from the speaker to the ears, the owner of the ears' thoughts and then their emotions or their
It's
values.
an age-old practice. That's why the words exoteric and esoteric exist for that exact reason.
Yeah, well, the whole in and out thing brings up the idea of duality, but it should bring up the idea of opposites because opposites are in everything, but duality asks you to pick a side.
Yeah, I don't do that.
No, I meant generally across the population, the main deception is picking a side from duality instead of
Oh
acknowledging
yeah,
that fine
you
human.
Democrat or Republican? Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, that
That's what they
causes,
encourage, and
that takes
almost
the
everyone
natural,
around me
yeah,
falls into that
politics.
trap. It's
Yeah.
well, a lot of us have graduated past that level on many things, but it's a good reminder to bring up that we're all susceptible. The reason it's so successful on such a large scale is because it's it's uh it's almost so guaranteed that if you put almost anyone into the situation where you ask them to pick a side, they will. It's just very natural. And
Well, it's natural. It's natural from memes of religions. So religions are the one who said that we came to Earth to learn about good and bad and pick from it, and that's bullshit. We came here to learn about good and bad, not to
you a
find.
Satanist or a Christian? Yeah. You a Satanist
But
or you a
that's.
Christian?
But
Which
we came
side you
here to
on?
experience. We came here to experience good and bad, not to choose from good and bad. So the
False
whole religion
dichotomies
lie.
are a bitch, dude.
Now I'm saying the religions are the ones pushing duality. They're the ones who are the devil. The religions. They're telling us to pick a side. They're not acknowledging the natural order of the universe.
Oh yeah, I keep an open mind. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're right, and I'll respect the positions that have been presented to me, and I'll always say, hey, maybe you're right, but I got to be fair and say, to my standards, I'm not convinced enough to buy in 100%. And no offense to anyone, but when you do buy in 100%, I say, man, you sound lazy to me. Yeah, it just sounds. I encourage humans to be in a continuous, perpetual state of consideration. And when you've decided you're done considering the options on the table, and you say, no, I'm sold. I bought into this one that was presented to me. I'm no longer willing to investigate, question. I got to figure out. I say, all right, you're a coward and you're lazy. Sorry. That's at least to some degree. You're a Christian, you're a Buddhist, you're a Muslim, you're a atheist or whatever. All right, you lazy coward. Whatever. Go ahead and make up your mind and shut yourself off. Whatever. I'm not joining your team. I don't think that's what this reality, this life that I've been given is meant for. I think that's failing the test. If it is a test, which I'm totally comfortable with it being a test, I'm not sold on that idea it's a test. But if it is a test, I imagine that shutting your mind off, picking a side, defending it 100%, vehement, what was it? Vehemently? Ah, shit. I want to use that word correctly, but I can't pronounce it. But yeah, giving up, making your mind up, settling. Oh, settling. That's a good word. Settling. No, this life you've been given isn't the best practice of it, in my opinion, isn't done by settling. Consider until the day you die. It's okay if you have a favored opinion. I expect everyone naturally to have their most favored opinion that they believe in the most, or consider the most, or entertain the most, or think about the most. Sure. You tell me you're done considering though? Say, no, I'm decided. All right, you're a lazy coward then. Give me your opinion. Don't tell me you know the truth though. Don't do that or else you're a lazy coward. Tell me which option you're considering and entertaining most strongly based on reasons. I hope that reason isn't. I grew up in this environment, in this culture, and that was the most popular one, so I'd be embarrassed to pick otherwise. But hey, I'm preaching to the choir. Guilty. Preaching to the choir. Sorry, guys. Preaching to the choir. I admit it. My bad. I guess I was just venting there.